written a date on it on this day. That means today what you have worked with. Okay, so I have appeared today, right, on 3rd November, right, on your notebook. The first page of notebook date must be 3/11/2020. You may or may not work it today. Maybe tomorrow you start working on it, but you write today's date. Okay, that what you have studied today and what you are told to do today. Okay, right? So it is better to keep a notebook with you only. Okay, so at the time or when you come here for the regular labs, I can or I may ask you to show it. Okay, right? And you don't have to write, post it. You don't have to turn it in the Teams. Okay, you just have to work already and work on with, right? So let me begin with, I hope this is clear to you, right? As far as maintaining a notebook is concerned, maintain a fair notebook, write a date on it, right? What you have done on or what you are studying, you just write it down and work with. No matter you work it tomorrow, but write today's date. Okay, and when if we meet on Thursday, whatever the work that I give or you do or you learn, you write that date and work. I mean the write on it. Okay, or write the programs on it. Okay, on that day. Fine, shall I proceed with the demonstration of using Keel Microvision software? Are you ready?
Excuse me, sir. Some
Yeah.
people are waiting to join the team actually.
Okay. Okay. That's the reason why I delayed. Okay, I will just accept them
Yes, sir.
and tell them if they have already right given a request for joining the team, they don't have to request again.
Okay, sir.
Just check whether do I need to wait for some more time?
Sir, I think the issue is that a bunch of people are going into different meetings and logging into different meetings. I don't think they know or they understood that there's a Teams for this lab.
Notification in analog and digital communication team that you have to join the microprocessor lab 2020. They have already started or what? Roshil?
Sir, I saw a bunch of them starting new meetings. That's I got the notification, but
Just
I
tell
don't know
them.
how many are there.
Just tell them to leave that meeting and join the meeting of the day. Okay, I'll just what can I killer to those who have joined some other meeting or created some other meeting, I have sent a link in Teams chat box. Please click and join. Shivam. 173 ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಅವ್ನು ಯಾರು CR ಇರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್.
ABCD, please inform your classmates or friends to join by clicking the link which I have sent in the microprocessor lab team. Yeah, most of you have 200, I think we have. Shall we begin? Vedant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now I'll where Keel Microvision I have installed. The Keel Microvision, I hope you can see it, Microvision 5 in a startup, and if you want you can create a shortcut and place it in the desktop. So I'll click on it. So you can find the Keel Microvision project navigator is going to open. Can all of you see?
Yes.
Is it visible? The project navigator?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so my first step relation of 8051 is to create a new project. For that I have to click on project. I'll click on project, and the next step is to create a new Microvision project. Right? What did I do first? I just clicked on start. If not, you have an icon in the desktop. You click on start. You find Keel Microvision 5. Small window popping up, right? So what you do is you just create your own folder, right? Which stores all your 8051 programs or ARM programs, right? So you can just create the folder by right clicking on the pop-up window and just create a new folder and type the name you want, and double click to open that folder. Then write the name of the project, right? Write the name of the project, right? So you can give any meaningful name, right? So I will write it as I'll write the name of the project as first one. Okay, so first one I will write. So simply any name you can give. You don't have to give any extensions, right? Just write the name of the save, right? So once you click on save, you will have to select device. So you will find a window popping up here. So you have to select a device. So here we are going to program 8051 microcontroller, and you can just scroll down. So you will have many right vendors, right? So who give you the 8051 products or members, right? So our interest is in Intel's 8051, right? Intel 8051. So I can click on, right? So Intel, I'll just open Intel. So you can see I just opened Intel. In that I selected 8051AH. Okay, 8051AH, right? Then it will give you all details of this 8051. It's an 8-bit microcontroller with 32 IO lines, right? 32 IO lines in the sense 32 IO pins, in fact. And we consider 8 IO pins together as one port. That is, we have 4 ports in it: P0, P1, P2, P3. It has got 2 timers or counters. Timers in the sense can count internal clock cycle or machine cycle, we call it as. Counters in the sense it will count clock event cycle. Then 5 interrupts, right? 5 interrupts are timer 0, timer 1, external hardware interrupt 0, external hardware interrupt 1, serial communication interrupt. Okay, these are the 5 programmable interrupts. There is one more interrupt which is non-programmable. We call it as a reset. Okay, and as far as another important feature is concerned, it has got 4 kilobytes of ROM, internal ROM. Okay, 4 kilobytes of ROM and 128 bytes of RAM, data memory, call it. So 4 kilobytes of read-only memory, that is program memory or code memory, and 128 bytes of on-chip RAM or data memory. Okay, right? So I'll click OK here, and it will ask you whether you want to copy startup file, right? You don't have to. Let us not accept the startup file. Okay, so now you find my project is created. So wait for some time, and somebody have requested to join the team. On-chip ROM is the program where your code fits, right? You write some set of instructions, right? So what you want a processor to do, what you want from motor you want. So where you will write instructions for this stepper motor to function, you will write these instructions in the program memory, that is the read-only memory, internal ROM of 8051. Usually you can use external ROM also, but you can you have a facility. When you have an internal ROM facility by the processor, you can program your instructions or the code in the internal ROM of 8051. I hope I have cleared your doubt.
Sir, should we use extended linker, that checkbox, or is it not needed?
Where do I write? I need an editor, right? For that, I can find an editor by clicking on file Same in the project navigator. Got it? You can see new control plus N. You can make use of a keyboard also, right? So there is a new, right? So you can click on file and select new, or you can click on a new directly. Once you click on this, you will get an editor. Okay, you will get an editor. Hope you all got it. So this part of the window is a space for writing a C or assembly code, okay, on your project navigator. And the left side is a project, right, where you will find your file is going to fit that, right? So I will show you. I'll open it once I write a program. I'll take a simple program. Right? Simple 8051 assembly program and show you how it works. So I can write, say, move, say R0, comma, hash, say 30 hex, and move R1, comma, hash 31 hex. So what this will do, it's an immediate data transfer instruction. That's an immediate addressing mode. R0 gets a value 30 hex, R1 gets a value 31 hex. Right? Then what I will do, I will say move A, comma, R0, and then add A, comma, R1. A very simple program. So first line of code is move R0, comma, hash 30 hex, move R1, comma, hash 31 hex, move A, comma, R0, add A, comma, R1. So now this is written. I have just typed few instructions, right? So as I have typed it in an editor, so it is simply a text, but I want this editor to save my set of instructions as a file of code, right? So for that, what I'll have to do, I have to save this file, and this set of instruction is in assembly language. So I will have to save this, right? Save this as .asm.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it necessary to select the register bank first, sir?
Not necessarily. Upon reset, the bank selected will be bank 0. Okay. Not necessarily. Upon reset, bank, there are 4 banks. I hope you are
Yes,
aware
sir.
of.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bank 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So in the program status word, there is RS1 and RS0 bit. Okay, they are 0 initially. I mean, all register contents except for ports, port registers are all 0, right? There is one program count. Sorry, what is stack pointer? Its value is 7. Ports are all configured as all FFs, 4 ports, and rest other registers are going to hold a value 0 upon reset. That means program status word will also hold a value 0, means RS1, RS0 will also hold 0. That means upon reset, default bank or bank selected will be bank 0. Okay, you don't have to worry about the bank. If you want to change the bank, then you have to program the PSW. Okay, right. So now I will have to say, yeah.
So does 8051 only support 2 address instructions?
2 addressing in the sense we have many, right? Immediate addressing.
Okay. No, sir. Like in ARM, we could use just add R3, comma R1, R2. Here we have to move A. So like that way we only use 2 operands as such.
I think in the thumb mode, you can find that is a situation like 8051. So ARM mode it is, right? Add R0, comma R1, comma R2 means what, right? That is nothing but R0 is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Add R0, comma R1, comma R2 is nothing but R0 equal to R1 plus R2. Here, when I say add A, comma R1, right? Add A, comma R1 is nothing but register A, right? will be equal to A plus R1. Okay, whatever
Yes,
the pass content of register is gets added with R1 and stores the result in
A.
A. Okay, A is an accumulator here. So the limitation of this 8051 microcontroller is you need, I mean, for addition purpose or most of the logical operations, you need only accumulator as a destination operand. Okay, whereas in ARM, you can make use of any register. There is
Yes,
no
sir.
restriction in ARM 7, but here most of the logical operations, I think, except for XRL, that is exclusive OR, right? You need accumulator or A register as one of the operands. Okay, means destination operands rather, right? Registration operand. I hope I have cleared your doubt here. I have just taken a simple 4-line assembly code. Okay, so now
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So we can also write add a comma r1 comma r0, right?
No.
We cannot do that.
Yeah. A comma R1 or A comma Rx in general, where X is nothing but 0 to 7. Anyone. Okay.
So, sir, you're saying that we cannot include a third operand in the same instruction.
Third operand will not come here in 8051. That is the limitation here. Whereas in ARM you have.
Okay, sir. Understood. Sir. Thank you.
So that is the difference. Okay. One is for arithmetic and most of the logical operations, you find accumulator, that is A as the destination register. Okay. Means that is only what you can say math register, I can tell you. Okay, math register, you know, which is used for performing the arithmetic and logical operations. Okay, right. Anything else? So now my time is yeah.
Sir, is it necessary to start with ORG000H, sir, because we are using hexa, sir, na?
Not necessarily. Okay, as far as 8051 microcontroller is concerned, ORG is optional. ORG is optional, right? That's why I have not written. I will tell you when it is a necessity. It will be necessity when you go for interrupt programming, interrupt service routine. You may find it is required. Okay, ORG is required. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Right. So for the timing, I will not use it. And even if you want to, to load, I mean, store some data in the code memory. Data in the sense some string or some data in the code memory, you may need this ORG instruction. As far as to start the code, ORG 0 is not required. Even if you don't put it, it starts from the memory 0 only, and or the program counter starts from 0, right? Even if you don't put it, right? So it is not required. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we'll save it. So you will find whatever the folder I have created. When I click on save, that new window will be popped up. Right. I will save it as a sample. But what is it? It is an assembly language program. I'll save it as sample.asm. Okay. .asm is a must, otherwise it will be stored as a text only, right? It has to be saved as .asm extension, that is sample.asm. Just a simple name I have given, right? So name, so always you try to give a meaningful name to each program that you do, right? And save it. The moment I save it, you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference. What is the difference? You can see that instruction, say like move, add, are shown with a different color, or in some cases or some of the systems you will find it, or some of the versions you will find these instructions are in bold. Okay, are in bold. One thing let me tell you, as far as 8051 assembly program is concerned, this assembler is case insensitive. Okay, means what? You can use capital, small, or in add you can write A capital, DD small, doesn't matter. Okay, whereas in ARM you cannot do so. Okay, ARM 7, either you go for full small or full capital. Okay, right? So that is the difference. Okay, there's one more difference in ARM and 8051 assembly. I mean assembly programming or assembly programming. So move R0, #30x. You can see registers are also shown in different color, and immediate data is also shown in different color, right? So now my next step is to add this file. Sample.asm is just a file ASM which I have assembly file which I have created, but I have to add this file to my project. So for that, what I have to do? I have to click on right click on target one. Right click on target one, not target, sorry. So I just expand this target one. So there is a plus, you can see, just expand this and right click on source group one. I'll just right click on source group one, right? Right click on source group one, right? So what is to be done here? I have to add my assembly which I have already created to this project, right? Add existing files to group source group one. Name of the group is source group one, right? See that in your project there is only one source group, that is source group one, right? Nothing else. So what I have to do, I have to click this add existing files to group source group one, right? So you can see after clicking that, I get a window in which I am not finding my file, right? So why? It is files of type, by default you find C source file. Okay, so whatever the files, if at all the files are in .c, okay, or .c extension, or if there are C files, those files are going to only open here, right? Because of the file type it is chosen, star.c. So my intention is to have files of the kind of ASM. What I'll do, ASM source files, it can be .s, .src, .a, right? So my file is stored as a ASM file. So I'll click on this ASM source file. After clicking on this ASM source file, you will find my file is here, right? The first program which I have loaded is here. So that is sample.asm. Sample.asm. Moment I select, and this I have to add. So moment I add this, you can see there is a plus here. You can see my file got added, right? I'll just, after adding, I'll just close it. Right, you can see this sample.asm is open. Now I will have to check whether my code, what I have written, is working properly or not. For that, what I have to do, I have to build the target, right? So there are options to build the target. One is just simply right click on the sample.asm and click build target, or F7 you press, or else there is one button here you can see in the project navigator. You can click this. Okay, you can either click this build target or you can click this. Okay, so what I'll do, whichever is easy for me, I'll do, right? So, or I can just say there are options here in your project navigator also. That is, you can click build a target from here, right? So it's something somewhat long, right? So better we just find and click here. If my file is without any problem, I mean, I have followed proper syntax, it will definitely will give no errors. And there is one warning. Warning is not an error, just tell you that you have missed something here. So to avoid that also, you can type end. Okay, you can type end, right? And say save, or you don't save, not an issue. So you can say, so 0 errors, 0 warning. Let me now commit a mistake, right? I commit a mistake, small mistake I have committed, right? So I will build it again. The changes every time I make changes, before I go for a simulation, I have to build the target. Okay, then only I can go for simulation, right? So I will build the target again. So there is a syntax error. You can see sample.asm bracket 2. Bracket 2 indicates in which line there is a error, right? So in line 2, there is an error. I can check it by double clicking on it. So moment I double click, I'll find the navigator is showing you have an error there, right? It is not telling you what error you have committed, right? It will tell you you have missed something here, right? So you have to find out what you have missed, right? So wait a minute, I will just wait a moment. I'll just add a few students who have given a request to join. Okay, so I will add this. Okay, I'll just make this and build it again. There is no error. I'll make one more mistake. Usually students do, instead of R naught, students end up in writing R0, right? So RO, right? RO is not equal to R0. You can see the difference in the color. The moment you write RO, right, it will be different from what I have written as R1 here, right? And again, most of the students, this mistake, especially writing RO instead of R0, whether it is in 8051 or in R, right? So this mistake, right, so will not let you go further, right? You will get an error, right? So you can see that it is identifying, it is telling you that unidentified symbol. So RO is not recognized, R0 is recognized. Okay, right? I'll save it and build it again, right, without any error, right? So once you see this as 0 errors, right? So once you build a target and there is no error, right, you can proceed for simulation, right, or debug rather. Simulation or debug, one and the same. There are ways to go to the simulation. One is by clicking on debug. There is a start or stop debug session. Another one is button is here, very easy thing to do with start or stop debug session. Okay, so whichever is easy you feel, right, you just do that, right? A single click will do. All right, so the moment you click, it will tell you that evaluation mode, right, running with a code size limit 2K, right? So it will support that. This is the free version available in the net. This software supports code size below 2 kilobytes, right? So as long as your code is less than 2 kilobytes, you don't have to bother. The moment it exceeds 2 kilobytes, you have to buy the software. Okay, so now I said okay, I clicked OK, and then it went to the simulation mode or debug mode, right? So let us observe for some time here, right? In the off debug mode, you had a project on the left hand side. Now here you can see this part, right? Registers. We have 8 registers: R0, R1, R2, R3, and so on up to R7. And some of these special functions are program counter, states, right, seconds, right? So and there is one more called program status word, which is very, very important. Okay, right? You can see parity bit, F1, overflow, RS, right? RS means RS1, RS0 together, right? And other bits. This is very, very important. Carry bit. Okay, carry flag we say, program status word. Okay, this is the program status word, like CPSR in your ARM7. Okay, right? So whatever, I mean, the execution take place, no, step by step we do here, right? Based on the execution, you will find the changes in the values of the registers or special function registers, if at all they are written for getting affected. And you just see the right hand side bottom, there is a window, I mean a small thing called button called memory one. Just click on this memory one, which may be required to you. Click on this memory one, and this memory one will let you know about the contents placed in code memory or in data memory. Now if you want to see the contents loaded in the code memory, whatever the program you have written, no, so the program will be right, whatever the program you have written in 8051 assembly, right, a corresponding hex code or a binary code will be loaded or stored in the code memory, right? Let me see that. See, for that, to see the code memory, I have to write C for code, C colon, say I'll write C colon starting address is 0, right? The moment you write C colon starting address 0, you can see 78, 30, 79, 31, E8, 29. What these are actually? These are nothing but the operational codes, right? Operational codes. 78, for example. So move R0 comma hash immediate data has an opcode called 78. I should not say it as 78 because it is an hex. It's a hex number. I should say 78. Okay, 78. Then what is this 30? So you can see 78 is stored in memory location. Address stored at address 00. 30 is stored at 301. Right. So what is this 30? 30 is nothing but the immediate data. Then 79 is an operational code for move R1 comma hash immediate data, whereas 31 is an immediate data. Then next instruction is move A comma R0. Move A comma R0 has an opcode, right? A comma R0 is just a register addressing mode. It is having an opcode E8. Then similarly, add A comma R1 has an opcode 29. Okay. And on top of this, you can see this is a sample ASM of my assembly code file. You can see, but on top, right? So you can see this is nothing but a disassembly, right? This is nothing but a disassembly, right? So disassembly in the sense how your assembly is written in the code memory. You can see 0x0000 is 7830. What this 78 means? 78 is an opcode for move R0, comma immediate data, and 30 is an immediate data. It occupies 2 locations, 2 bytes. Okay, 2 bytes or 2 locations. Next, in 0000 and 0001. At 0002 and 0003, you have 79 and 31 respectively. 0004 as a 1 byte instruction, it occupies only 1 memory location, E8, which is for add, what is that? Move A comma R0. Then 0005 occupies 1 byte because add A comma R1 is a 1 byte instruction. All right. So next, I will have to see the step-by-step execution. One way to do it is, you can see here there is a button in the project navigator which is telling step 1 line, okay, or you press F11, okay, step 1 line, or you press F11. And there is one more, you can run the code continuously, right? It keep on running, right? That the option is for that, press this button or press F5, right? Usually to know the contents of register step by step, we use F11 or step, right? This button, right? So we are not step over the current line. We are not going to focus on this. In fact, we are interested in most of the cases. We are interested in step by step executions. That is F11, right? Let us press F11 one by one, right? So first F11, you can see the register content on the left, right? Registers are shown R0 to R7. You can see the default value is 0. That means upon reset, these are all going to take value 0. And you can see some special function registers like A, B, stack pointer. Stack pointer is by default upon reset will take a value 7. And why stack pointer maximum is 7? Because you have not put anything in the stack, so it is still 7. That is the maximum value. A DPTR is upon reset 0. Program counter is the one which holds the address of the next instruction. We have not started any execution yet. So that is the reason why program counter is 0. So F11, first F11, let us see, right? What is first F11 is doing? Move R0 comma hash 30 hex down. 30 hex is moved directly into the register R0, right? Right. So here I have mentioned it as 30 hex, right? 30 hex, in fact, 30 hex. Now, if I remove H, what you will find is it will store the hex equivalent of decimal 30. That we'll see. I think I have given in the program also something like that, right? You can verify, right? So as I have mentioned, move R0 comma hash 30 hex, right? H, in fact, it will store that value in R0. Right. So next F11 is move R1 comma hash 31 hex. So you will find R1 gets stored in 31 hex, right? So R0 is 30 hex, R1 is 31 hex. The next instruction what it does, now you can see before before execution of move A comma R0, right? Move A comma R0, you see there is a content of register A which is 0. Okay, so move A comma R0 will make one of the values that I am going to add with the other will be placed. That is 30 will be placed in, right, R accumulator or A, right? So next instruction you will find, right, add A comma R1 means what? Content of A is 30, content of R1 is 31. So add A comma R1 is nothing but A equal to A plus R1. Okay, is 30 plus or 30 hex plus 31 hex is 61 hex. Okay, so you can see there is nothing left after this code. There is the end. So if you press F11 again and again, that will lead to an error, because error in the assembler or simulation, it will tell you because there is no code is seen, right? No code, no operation is there. So that's why it is not going to execute. It will show an error, right? So now if I at all, I have to make some changes in my program, what I have to do, I'll have to stop the debugger. So same button I will click. To start the debugger, I'll click this. To stop also, I'll click the same. Okay, right? I'll go back and see this. Okay, any doubts?
Yes, sir. One doubt.
Yeah.
So we are currently learning about 8051, which is an 8-bit architecture,
Yeah.
and in microprocessors class we are doing ARM7, which is 32-bit.
Yeah.
So why are we not doing? Why are we not learning 32-bit architecture for the lab also? Why are
Yeah,
we
we will be learning it. We will be learning it in future after this, because this I have introduced you to do some projects, mini projects. Okay. Okay, just for the purpose of doing mini projects, I am.
Sir, so we won't be doing projects on ARM.
If you want, you can do. If those are willing to do a process, I mean, so the course objective of your lab is to study ARM processor and also to study some processor or controller using which you can do some mini projects.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's the reason why. Otherwise, you in ARM processor, you are most welcome to do it. Okay, so what happens usually? You study the ARM processor in the class, and at the same time we do the programming in the lab, right? It is like parallel thing which is happening, right? You may find it difficult when you come across some projects to be done using ARM processor, right? So at the same time, so now we have sufficient time, right? So you have learned sufficient part of ARM processor. It'll be easy for you to program ARM processor. If it is a parallel thing to be done, then it would have been difficult. That is the reason why we introduced in the subject in the past itself. So we thought we will include 8051 microcontroller so that you have some familiarity about it, right? You have already studied it in the past in the third semester, right? So it may be easy for you to do some projects. Okay, and even it will be helpful. I mean, you can even simulate the project, right? There are softwares, something like Protis. There is a Protis software which you can use to do some mini projects. Okay, you can use 8051. I don't know whether it supports ARM or not, but as far as my knowledge is concerned, 8051 it supports, or some processors, family members 8051 it supports. That is the only reason we are doing it. Okay, right? That is the reason why. Yeah.
Sir, what is the use of debug exactly in this case?
Debugger.
Yes, sir.
So now you want to see the register contents. You want to see your program working fine or not. How to check?
Okay, sir.
How to check? I have to see, right? So these are all right. So there are. I mean, there may be some error in the program that you have written. May not be, of course, will not be a syntax error. Some logical mistakes you might have committed, which you want to see. Debug is important in 8051. Even it is very, very important important in R. Okay. So
okay, sir.
yeah, what I'll do now is I will just remove this hash. Okay, right? What this indicates now, removing hash, right? Move R0 comma 30 hex, move R1 comma 31 hex, and add A comma R0, add A comma R1, right? So this is nothing but the indirect addressing. Okay, indirect addressing. I'll just repeat the task, right? That is, I have to build the target, right? After saving, I build the target. I'll see for no errors, and upon finding no errors, I'll just go to debug, right? I'll click on debug, right? So this I have shown you right here for code memory. I have not shown you for the data memory. Now I'll go for data memory. D colon 0 1 location 0, and you can see all the register contents here all 0 except at few places FF 07 FF and so on. All right. So this program what I have written is for register, not register addressing. It's a direct addressing. That means what a 30 hex what is here is a address of a particular location, right? So particular 30 hex. So what I'll do, I'll just write 30 hex. Okay. So 30 hex upon reset is also having 0. So what I'll do, I'll just double click on this. So I'll write say 45. Some value, hexadecimal value, I'll write it's 45. Then double click, say 55. That means at 30 I have 45, at 31 I have 55, right? So now I'll come back here and press F11 and see what happens. Right? Moment I press F11 once, what do you find? R0 holds a value 45 hex. Right? Why it is so? I have taken the value at 30 hex, which is 45, and here the next instruction R1 equal to 55 hex, so value at 31 hex, and so move the first value at accumulator and then add. You can see the value, resulting value is 9A. Okay, resulting value is 9A. Fine. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah. I'll make one more change in the program, same program. Move R0 comma hash 30 hex, move R1 comma hash 31 hex. Here what I'll do, I will just say at R0 and at R1, right? So the kind of addressing mode here is called indirect addressing, right? Right. So copy the content of that is this move A comma at the rate of R0 is nothing but copy the content stored at a location pointed by R0. Okay, pointed by R0. Fine. So let me see this. Here pointed by R1. So build it again. 30 hex, right? So I'll just write 45 again, 55 again. So press F11. So R0 is right initialized as 30, R1 is initialized as 31, and next move A comma. What do you think move A comma at the rate of R0 should do? Somebody?
Sir, it moves A at the address of R0.
Address of R0. Yeah, not address of R0. Content stored at a location whose address is pointed by R0, right? So 45, right? So then add a comma at the rate of R0. You can see same result. Okay, fine. And the intention behind learning this 8051 ARM processor is it will make easy for you to understand ARM processor, right? ARM programming. If you learn this well, okay, it will be very easy. You can have a comparison, right? So you ask me a few questions, right? What is it in the ARM? What is it in? Why is it in 8051? Right? You can have a comparison. You can compare both the processors. So if you can compare well, no, you can understand well. So that is the only reason, right? To work on many projects, to understand the comparison between the ARM processor and microcontroller, right? So any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah. Wait, I'll just you can even make use of features, right? So I'll go into the simulation debug mode, right? Click on debug, right? So you can see some peripherals, right? It will be useful to you while ARM programming also. Peripherals like interrupts, you can make out if you have programmed interrupts, right, in 8051 or in ARM, right? So you can make a note, or you can understand how interrupt works here at the time of simulation. Then you can go for IO ports. There are 4 ports in this, right? You have port 0. You can click on port 1. All ports at a time. You can see here port 2, right? Port 3. These ports content you can see based on your program. Then you have serial communication operations. You can make observation, and you can even have a timer. There are 2 timers here, timer 0 and timer 1. You can see the timer supporting flag bits or interrupts, or supporting registers for these timers. You can observe, right? So these are the features you can have in this assembler Keil Microvision, and same thing is applicable for ARM7 also. Okay, so I'll just show you one simple program. There is one feature called analysis window, which shows the waveforms of your requirement. Okay, so I'll just write one simple program for that. Right, S jump is a short jump. INC P0 is port 0. Port 0 gets incremented. This feature you do not have in ARM, right? You have to see. You will understand the complexity and simplicity, right, in both ARM and 8051. So if you learn 8051, you will understand how better ARM is or how difficult ARM is. Okay. I'll save this and just build the target. I don't know if it gives an error or not. Yeah, of course there is a warning. I'll just write an end, right? I run it again. Okay, so I just go to start debug, right? This program is simply to see the content of port, right? What I'll do, I'll just open the peripheral. Which port it is? Port 0, right? Port 0. I'll just say F11. You can see I keep on pressing F11. It keep on incrementing. port 0 bits, right? So you can just see that it is incrementing port bits, right? Not only this, I can even see this as a waveform. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go to the waveform analyzer. So waveform, that is analysis window. I just click, the moment I click analysis window, I'll get this. Okay, and what I want to see, I want to see port 0, right? So there is a setup. Click on setup, right? So what you want to see, I want to see port 0 outputs. Okay, it will give me port 0 output. How it will give me, let me see. Just I will click on this the new, right, new insert, right? What I want to insert, I want to insert P0, port 0, and click here. So port 0 got inserted, right? So I want display type as analog, right? And I will close, and I will use a button run or key F5. You can see this waveform. I can even stop this right simulation. Just I can stop this. What you can see, so I'll just zoom in, just expand. This is nothing but a ramp, isn't it? Just a ramp or staircase of 255 steps, 0 to 255, right? It is giving me an analog kind output, which is a ramp. If that means what, if I pass this port 0 output through a digital to analog converter, right, it will give me the output of a ramp. Okay, so this waveforms also you can see, right? Waveforms also you can see, all right? And also, like, you can even generate a sine waveform, okay, using a program. For generating a sine waveform, you can make use of a formula called 1 plus sine theta into 128. Okay, and theta, a step angle of say around 30 degree or 15 degree you can take, and just apply to a port one after the other, you will get it. Okay, right? So how to do that? I mean, how you can do that? So you can store those values whatever you want to, right, in a code memory and do it. So example, I will write one simple program to fetch the data which is available in the code memory. Okay, say move dptr hash data 1. Okay, next move a comma hash 0. Move c a comma at the rate of a plus dptr. Okay, dptr comma. Okay, next move r0 comma a, and done. Okay, I've done this. What I can do is, this is one program I have written in the same file, right? So I'll just write, say something like data 1 colon db, okay, 25 hex, okay, 25 hex, okay, or 25 I will write for the time. For some, now I'll write it as 25 only. Okay, and I will just save this, and the same program only I have same file only I have taken, right? I have removed the previous code and just put this. I saved it, and I'll just build this target. Okay, so I'll put an end here, right? I'll put an end here at the end, is here. I'll just go to debug. So I press F11. So what this DPTR is? DPTR is a 16-bit register, right? Apart from program counter, there is only one register which is a 16-bit register is a DPTR. Okay. So DPTR is, you can see here, DPTR is here. Upon reset, its value is 0, right? Its value is 0. The moment I click of F11, you find DPTR value is 0x0007. Okay, DPTR is 0x0007. Now you can see why. I'll just close this waveform analyzer. Why it is 0007, right? The reason is I have a value defined 25, value defined at 25 at 0007. That is the reason why DPTR is holding a value whose label is data1, right? So you just, if you have any doubts, keep in your mind. The moment I complete this program, you just raise it. Okay, so then next move a comma #0 means what? Upon reset, accumulator is always 0, whether you write 0 or not. Then what? Move C a comma at the rate of a plus DPTR, right? So what do you find? A now holds a value 19, but the value which I have loaded is 25. 25 decimal is equal to 0019 in hexadecimal. Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah. So you will be able to, right, compare these programs, right, or this 8051 programming with ARM processors programming easily, right? If you learn 8051 or 8085 of any simple processor for that matter, if you study, it will be very, very easy to program advanced processors like ARM7 or ARM processor. Okay, that is the only reason for us to make you, right, you know, make things easy for you in ARM, right? Fine. Right? Can somebody give me values, right, in steps of 30 degrees? Okay, 1 plus sine theta, that is in bracket 1 plus sine theta, bracket close, multiplied by 128. Can somebody give me, so that I can write a program for you which can generate a sine wave? Yeah.
So at 0 we have 128.
Yeah.
Then 15 degrees is 161.
15 degrees you have taken. I have to write 24 values then.
Okay, I can
For the
reduce
timing,
it.
you give 12 values only, 30 degree steps.
At 30 degrees, sir, it's 192.
192.
60 degrees is 239.
239.
90 degrees is 256.
256 in 8051. That is, it's a 8-bit processor, no? If I write 256 in a register, storing only the lower 8 bits only, it will be 0. Okay. Instead of 256, I will write 255. Okay.
Okay, sir.
255 is FF. Next.
Then again, 1 degree is
239. Then 192.
128 at 180 degrees again.
128.
At 210 degrees, 64.
64.
At 240 degrees, 17.
17. 270, it must be 0.
Yes,
17,
sir.
64.
And again at 360, 128.
Okay, 360 I will not take. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So let me try this. Okay, move P naught comma A. Okay. I'll check DJNZ. DJNZ. Or not. Comma. At DPTR. DJNZ R0 comma back. R0 comma back. Then S jump. Here. Here. So I will write these values. Okay. 128, comma 192, comma 239, comma 255, comma 239, comma 192, comma 128, comma 64, comma 17, comma 0, comma 17, comma 64. See here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 values, right? Which gives me 360 degree, right? Angle, right? So what I have done, I have initialized the data point starting address of this data, right? So I have taken the count because I have 12 values to be displayed on the port, right? So I have taken the at the rate of A plus DPTR. That is what it is pointing the first value first, right? Because A is upon reset is going to be 0. I have not reinitialized it again. What I'll do, I'll just reinitialize for the time being. Okay, move A comma hash 0. I can initialize move A comma hash 0, right? So move the A comma at the rate of A plus DPTR, move P naught comma A, right? And stop it. And just back here. Yes. What we'll do, okay, first I have initialized the counter. A equal to 0, right? Content of A is 0. So DPTR is pointing to right 128, right? 120 gets placed next to 0%. It will be 0 again. DPTR is pointing to 12. Every time the value gets right from the memory, R0 gets decremented. And once this row R0, right, will start falling again. Right? So let me see this. So now I will open the waveform analyzer. Port 0 is already written, right? I can just start. You can see at the stop. You can see the sine like waveform, right? Sine like waveform. As I have taken only 12 values, right? 12 values. It will give you right a rough sine wave. And if you increase the number of values, right? Say that you take a step angle of 15, right? You will get more and more right. Smoother, right? And if you want, you can do for more and more values, maybe 360 values also. This how you can, right, simulate, right? So you come to know what each board is. Yuvraj. Any issues?
No, sir.
Right. So now, can you try programming the programs which I have sent already? All of you, right? Shall we meet on Thursday at same time, 3 o'clock, to know how well you understood? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right. Don't think that we are studying more advanced processor. Why we should study 8051 or processor of the quality less than ARM processor or advanced processor, right? Always a very low, right, basic processors will let you understand much better when you study advanced processor, right? So you will be studying very deep, right? So to be frank with you, I have studied a processor like 8085 in the past during my engineering, right? Now I have not taught 8051, or I have not learned 8051 before I taught 8051. I have not studied ARM7. I have not at all studied ARM7. Now I can program ARM7 or any processor you tell me, any advanced processor you tell me, I have a confidence of programming that processor. Okay, I have a confidence of programming that processor because I have studied. I have a confidence of studying a simple basic processor like 8085. I can program any advanced processor, right? Don't simply think that if we are studying an advanced processor, why we have to study 8051 or 8085. Now, more basic processor you study, more confidence you get to build or to program or to develop an advanced processor. Okay. So with this, I would like to conclude today's class, right? So if you have any doubts, right, next class, I will, right, if you just program, I will ask one of you, right, or few of you to show your programs, okay? Show your programs. I will give you the control so that you can run programs and show me the results, right? You please go through. I have sent you the materials on 8051 also. Materials in the sense, what one textbook I think just now I downloaded and posted in the team. Please go through it. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts? Are you all there?
No doubts, sir.
No doubts. Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So now if you program this, you will find ARM processor very easy. Okay. It will be very easy for you if you program this 8051. Okay. Fine. All the best. Right. Thursday we'll meet then. Right. Yuvraj.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Thank
Fine.
you.
Thank you, sir.